Does anyone else enjoy some Age of Wonders 4? I'm a big fan. I think it's the best 4X civ building kind of game that there is right now, and maybe ever. It's incredible. It's great. I've been around the block a little bit, enough that I don't have anything left to unlock. All my Pantheon rewards are done, so I've got a little experience with it. I've played a bit. And I'm here today to talk to you about my 3 favorite factions or builds that you can do. The combos, the combinations of faction and race and spell books and traits and quirks and all these crazy things you can put together. The creativity is endless in Age of Wonders 4. And I'm going to give you my 3 favorites. These are all pretty strong ones that'll auto work if you need to play a multiplayer game and beat up your friends, or if you just like comp stomping. Let's take a look at them. First off, my number 1 faction. Take a look at our Cleveland Metro Park Zoo here with an average Midwesterner. My favorite faction is Primal Glacial Mammoth combined with a Frost Giant. Now, why do we like that? Well, let's walk through it real quick because it'll actually be easier here. When we're picking traits, typically for these guys, I really, really enjoy... We'll click through here. I like fast recuperation. What we're going to do with this faction is a lot of creep in the map, so being able to regenerate extra hit points helps us keep that tempo up. And this is a very tempo faction. We can really get off to the races and do a ton of stuff fast early in the game. Fast recuperation's a ton of fun. I quite like quick reflexes, just generally good across the board. Being harder to hit by ranged attacks keeps you alive, keeps the enemy from focus firing down your units, and you really hate to lose units when you're creeping the map. And then usually for my last one, we do something like a Hardy. A couple extra hit points won't go wrong there. So we do that. We go and we pick up Primal Glacial Mammoth. Now we're going to be icy folks. We're going to be from the cold north. And the Glacial Mammoth offers a number of really great benefits. First of all, snow will be our favored terrain, which gives us +3 production. Already really useful. So we're going to live in the snow. We're going to spread the snow everywhere we go. Also, by being glacial mammoths, it lets us settle near the little glacial mammoth totems. And as we build a little shrine to our glacial mammoth, it'll turn all of the terrain of that city into snow automatically for us. So it's really, really easy to just make sure you're always on the Arctic snowy terrain. And then reap the benefits of that, like that +3 production, which is very useful. You also get Arctic Walk. You also get to build your farms on snow. It's great stuff. We love snow. We're going to make it cold everywhere. Primal in general is just a really strong culture right now. They've got a number of really good units. Their tier 1 swordsmen are fantastic. Their tier 2 animist, their little casters that summon animals, are fantastic. You could just make nothing but those 2 guys and you will profit. They're such good units. Really, really powerful. Again, super great at creeping the map, clearing out all of the neutrals really, really fast, grabbing all those goodies as quickly as you can. For society traits, the only one I feel really strongly about is mana. No, not mana. We like mana channelers, not the addicts, yeah. We're going to do a lot of summoning in this build. We're going to summon animals all the live long day, so we might as well have them be 50% cheaper to cast. We're going to be chewing through our mana reserves. Also, because we're summoning animals, they're going to be magic origin, and a little extra experience will be great. We're going to focus on summoning animals that can evolve, which usually means tier 1 animals, though there are some tier 2 animals that evolve into tier 4s. So it just takes, you got to look through them if you're not familiar with the animals. It's probably better to summon a tier 1 animal that can evolve than to summon a tier 2 animal that can't, because it's just going to give you a little more longevity, even though you might have to babysit them more early on. And then your second option is really you can go anywhere. I personally quite enjoy Fabled Hunters. Gives us a little bit of that extra hit point regen on top of our recuperation, again to help with our early tempo, and the extra resources from clearing the map are just really nice to have. Fabled Hunters, mana channelers are what we're going with, but if you really wanted to, I think you could swap out Fabled Hunters for anything else. We, of course, pick up Tome of the Beasts because we're going to try and get Call Wild Animal and just cast it on cooldown any chance we get. Anytime we've got the mana, a little space in our mana upkeep, we're going to call wild animals. We're going to make a 3-stack of 6 units of animals basically and just creep the whole map with them as quickly as we can. It's very, very efficient. And the final special juice here is the Giant King. The Giant King, specifically the Frost Giant King, because he gives us this incredible +2 mana on every province with snow or ice, which is going to be all of our provinces. So if you're doing the math at home, we've got +3 production from every province and +2 mana from every province with snow and ice. +5 resources on a province basically makes that province twice as productive as anyone else's ordinary provinces, right? If someone else just builds a farm on their grasslands and they get 5 food, we could build a farm on our snowy lands and we're going to get 5 food and 3 production and 2 mana. Incredible, incredible. So it's so good. It scales up and makes your cities mega lucrative. So you absolutely want to be settling cities as quickly as possible. And we want to be settling them near those, what are they? Like they're the mammoth rune stones or whatever that allow you to build the shrine to the mammoth. That's really important. With our Tome of the Beasts, of course, and like we mentioned, we pick up Call Wild Animal. We make lots of wild animals. Our second tome I quite enjoy. Where is my evolution? There it is. I quite enjoy the Tome of Evolution because, as we mentioned, going for our animals that can evolve, rapid evolution enchantment is so good. Gives them extra XP per turn just so to really speed them along toward their evolution, and giving them Slip Away, which healing them once per battle if their hit points would be reduced to 0, and that carries on even after they've evolved. So even once they're big tough creatures, they still keep their Slip Away and are really tough to kill. It's just a really great tome. And you might be thinking, but wait, we're cold. We really like cold stuff. Well, that's true. And the cold stuff also has an extraordinarily relevant Tier 1 Tome of Cryomancy. And that's why often with this faction, when I level up to Tier 2 tomes, I don't care particularly about any of the Tier 2 tomes. So I step back down and I pick a 3rd Tier 1 tome. I come back down and I grab the Tome of Cryomancy as my third tome, mostly because we really like the School of Cryomancy, a special province improvement that gives you extra knowledge and spits out a ton more mana for you. Extremely useful for this build. And then, Frost Arrows and Frost Blades and things are plenty fun. Honestly, the School of Cryomancy is the 100% of the reason that we come in here, but the other stuff's fine. Our second Tier 2 tome, we literally don't care about. Pick whatever looks good to you. I think I often end up, you could pick something else dark just because the dark tree is actually kind of nice to run down, but I think I probably don't do that. I probably come back to nature and pick up like Mists, which is pretty fun to play with. Glades is also fine. Glade Runners are pretty decent archers. Aspect of the Root is pretty decent because we will have a lot of shield units ideally in our army. These are okay, but what we really love is Tier 3. That's when we start to really pop off. Our Tome of Vigor is our first pickup. We come in here because we want to call Greater Animal. You do need your Wizard Tower High Halls done, so make sure you get that. That's a requirement for this to work, so make sure you have that cooking. But we're going to have so much production in our cities from being on the ice. Your cities are just going to go gangbusters, so it's not a problem usually. And then once we get to Tier 3, we start popping Call Greater Animal. We start grabbing Tier 4 animals into our army, and we are an absolute juggernaut on the field. Lots of our Tier 1 stuff has evolved at this point up to Tier 3, and then we're just straight in summoning Tier 3 and Tier 4 armies, our units right into our armies on the front lines. So good. Also Unleash the Beast. No, not Unleash. Empowered Beasts makes all of your summon animals way tougher. Oh, it's incredible. Like when this comes online by like turn 30 maybe, you're suddenly like a late game juggernaut. You're so powerful. The other thing we love in Tier 3 is we pop back over to the shadow side of things and we pick up some Cryomancy. No, that's Tier 1. Tier 3 is Cold Dark. Cold Dark is what we pick up. Again, they've got a research province improvement here, with tons of bonus knowledge. Turns out tons of bonus knowledge is good. Who knew? You also get Arctic farming, which doesn't matter. You get snow preference, which gives you extra stability for all of your snow provinces as well. As if your provinces were not productive enough, let's just keep adding on extra bennies to them. You could go Frostling Transformation if you want to. You could grab... We don't even care about this other stuff as much. Mostly we love the snow preference and the Frostspire. You can keep going on. What you get after this is pure gravy. You could go up into some dragons. You could go all the way up to prosperity is fun to get prosperity dragons and all that good stuff. Doesn't matter. All we care about is hitting tier 3 and summoning lots of animals and then just running over the map with our giant tough armies. Super cool. Let's jump on to our second faction here. The famous Architects. This is again a very meta faction. Architects considered extremely strong right now. And we're not doing anything too special with them. I enjoy playing them with a vampire. And this particular version of Architects, we're gonna go fiery chaos vampire Architects. It's just a fun way to do it. Architects could really be sort of flavored with anything, and they're mega strong, but here's what I like. I like the Architects are known especially for their tier 2 and their tier 3 units. Their tier 2 units give them guardians, which are swordsmen, which will reduce the resistances of everyone around them. So if you start going into your chaos, your Architects of Chaos, your swordsmen will reduce the fire armor. It will inflict fire vulnerability on everyone that they're adjacent to, basically, your guardians. And it stacks. And it's equal to the amount of monuments that you've got built. So if you've built up to a tier 4 monument and you walk your guardian swordsman next to somebody, that somebody is now -4 fire armor. If you walk a second guardian up to that guy, he's now -8 fire armor and is going to take like a zillion damage from the next fire attack you do to him. So because there's so much easy ways to add fire to your guys, I just really enjoy the chaos playstyle. So our horrible e-girl here with the basement dwellers, she's gonna go Architect with Architects of Chaos. It doesn't particularly matter, again, with the traits you're going with here. I like Strong for these guys because we're gonna do a lot of melee with our guardians. Quick reflexes, again, we don't wanna be blasted down by range units. And I actually like Athletics with these guys. It's nice if your guardians can run a little faster. For the Architects, also their tier 3 unit, the Architect, I think it's called an Architect, isn't it? Might be. Their tier 3 sort of caster support unit, absolutely incredible unit, super, super strong. Tier 2 and tier 3, they really pop off once you've got your, you've built up your monuments for the Architects. So the monuments are a special province improvement that take a lot of production and you build them in your lands. So we need to build them as quickly as possible. How do we do that? We go with Seekers of Wonders. These give you an ancient wonder that starts nearby. It doesn't require population to be annexed, which is nice. If it starts real close, you can grab it, maybe on turn 1, even if it's super close. But definitely by like turn 2 or 3 or 4, once you've expanded once or twice with your city, you can grab these special wonders and boom, right off the rip, plus 20% production for that city. Really, really strong. And then the second one we go with is Talented Collectors. Cities gain extra mana, gold, knowledge, food, production, draft for each magic material. So if you grab a couple magic materials, they're extra, extra lucrative. We care most about the production. We want as much production as we can get our hands on, but all that other stuff is nice too. So whenever we're settling new cities, we always make sure we're settling them near magic materials with at least one wonder that we can annex. And then you just kind of go ham. You start off with some pyromancy. Your leader could be anything. I just really enjoy the vampires, but you could do anything you want with these guys. All right, so obviously we're starting with our Tome of Pyromancy. We love the fiery stuff here. Searing blades, fiery projectiles, your ignites, your immolates, your bread and butter of your fire stuff. So this one's a no-brainer. We really want sort of fire anywhere we could get it. Our second tome, you can kind of bounce around wherever you want. Bloodrite is always very good, just sort of vampire-y themed. All of the spells and options in Bloodrite are super good. I often bounce over to Warband. Warband's pretty solid. Lieutenants are pretty decent, I think. I enjoy Bread for War to make my units a little more hardy, resistant to morale loss, and have a little more extra hit points and stuff. But what we're looking to get up to is, again, more fiery stuff, which is largely, I think, starts coming online in tier 3. Is Relentless Might? No. Relentless Might actually gives you Infernal Might, which is a little extra fire damage, so that's not bad. But what we really are aiming for in the end game is the Tome of the Demon Gate. And or we want a lot of this chaos stuff. Tome of the Demon Gate's fun. We can start going into demon stuff. We can make our guys demon kins, which are really wonderful. And then we also really love, what is it? Chaos Channeling lets us do all kinds of more flame stuff. Fire bombs. Scions of Flame is an incredible minor race transformation. Makes you incredibly resistant to fire damage, which is super prevalent, and then even adds more Vengeful Flames and Fiery Walks and Lava Walks and all kinds of fun stuff. Summon more flame units, all kinds of... It's just, there's so much fire stuff you could get from all the various books, that you can kind of go wherever you want. You grab the fiery stuff, and then you just lean into the strength of the Architect main units. It's just so good. It's a really incredibly powerful end game armies. All your cities are very strong. All your units are very strong. Fire Architects, super fun. And you could also reflavor this anywhere you want. You could probably go into some Cold Architects. You could probably even make some Lightning Architects work. In general, what I'm just telling you is the Architects are amazing. They're very, very good. Strongly suggest that you play some Architects, pick a type of elemental damage you like, and just go all in on that, and they will not let you down. So cool. Let's look at our final recommendation. All right, so our last recommendation for you here, and slightly less meta, but still quite strong, I think, is Oathsworn Strife with Vampires and the Vision of Ruin. This one's a lot of fun. I enjoy this a lot. If you like that war with everyone, murder, kill 'em all playstyle, this is the one for you. This is another vampire. I quite enjoy the vampire playstyle, but this one, it's really important. We go with a vampire and we lean into the summoning of the undead. I don't love the Oathsworn units as much. Their tier 1 swordsmen can do kind of a fun little shield bash charge. And their stuff's fine. So we kind of supplement that by leaning hard into the necromancy. Our Tome of Necromancy to summon lots of skeletons, to make some necromancers to keep those skeletons hardy. We use all of our we just make these basically just giant undead armies that we work with. And the other thing we index into, because it's so easy with undead also, is the morale shenanigans, of course. So in order to maximize our morale shenanigans, we like picking up Nightmare Mounts if you can. Nightmare Mounts, super good. It basically gives tons of your units this intimidating aura, where if they end their turn, adjacent enemy units just lose a bunch of morale. It's quite good. They also get default Vicious Killer. Units inflict morale penalties when killing an enemy, and it's pretty solid, plus hit points, and everybody gets to ride around on these cool fiery horses. So in order to get that, we can even... For this, I do take Coward, which is a negative trait that we're putting on our guys. Morale loss is increased and morale gain is reduced. We're going to basically turn all our guys into undead eventually, so we don't care too much about that. It rarely gets to the point with me that I feel like this is an issue, but that's a little contentious. You could drop that if you didn't want to do that. Again, quick reflexes I love, and strong I also love. Cult of Personality is probably the single best option in the game when it comes to these sort of traits. This is a Pantheon unlock. It lets you start the game with an extra hero, and then your heroes get a little extra benefits when they're updating their renown. Renown is super easy to farm if you've got people that can get I keep losing this. Tooltips here. If you've got people that can get a Dominator ambition, because you're going to be raising tons of units from the dead. So a Dominator ambition, you burn through the Renown super fast. You burn through the Renown super fast, it buffs up your Cult of Personality so that everybody gets extra skill points. Boom, it's so good. You're going to have tons of vampires running around. They all feed your main vampire their extra XP, so your main vampire just levels straight up to level 20, murders everything because vampires are awesome. It's very fun. Again, we're playing Strife Oathsworn. So basically it says you got to burn down cities, don't make friends with anybody, just be a jerk and be mean to everything. And we're going to combo that with Vision of Ruin for the Chaos affinity, which also says be a jerk to everybody and stir war and chaos in the realms. So, if you're going to be doing one, you might as well be doing the other. Vision of Ruins may be a little contentious. It doesn't give you anything really until the end game. It's easy enough to trigger most of the effects for this just by your general playstyle. And then the hard part of it is it's going to want you to start 2 or 3 majorly justified wars. So we want to kind of pick other targets in the realm, and we want to start building up grievances with them, because we need, I think it's 60 is maybe the cutoff. We need like 60-ish grievances for a majorly justified war. You get your majorly justified wars out of the way, and boom, you could proc your Vision of Ruin, which then makes everybody in the world at war with each other and gives you some insane buffs on your units. There's a stacking buff that stacks up to 50 times, giving you extra hit points and strength. You can really make armies that are unimaginably powerful with this. Plus, the general necromancy is so strong these days. It's really, really powerful. Let's take a quick look at tomes, but I think they're fairly self-explanatory. All right, we're starting with our Tome of Necromancy, of course. We want to get our skeletal reanimation online as quick as possible. Once you can start printing out skeletons, it really makes the early game much easier, and you kind of don't even care about them. Your skeletons can die, and you'll just summon more of them. So we do want a heavy emphasis on getting as much mana as we can early on. Skeletons, of course, once they're raised, have a mana upkeep. We need to get souls as quickly as possible, so we probably want to get excuse me. We probably want to get soul wells online as soon as we can, which help out giving us extra mana, give us extra souls. They're great. We love them. So we build up big armies of skeletons. We creep the map. We crush all of the neutral cities by us because we are not friends with everybody. We burn it all down. Second one, we love the Tome of Bloodright. Just a very strong tome. Synergizes nicely with all of our vampire-y stuff. We're going to make everything bleeding. We're going to make everything really sad and then dead. And then we're going to make it join our army with necromancy. It's wonderful. Tier 2 rolls around. We want the obvious stuff. You want your souls so you can continue on with your bone horror reanimation. Once you can start summoning Tier 3 bone horrors straight into your army, again, it's another big power spike for us. You can keep that snowball rolling. We also really like the Tome of the Doom Herald. Gives us all kinds of morale reducing shenanigans. You get up to Tier 3, and again, tons of fun stuff to work with. Tome of the Great Transformation, wildly OP when you could start making Bone Dragons Resurrection. So again, we're just leaning into that really standard necromancy style stuff. Bone Dragons are really great. Tome of Torment synergizes really well with it because, again, we're doing anti-morale stuff just as sort of an aside. And then it's really easy. You keep picking up the dark tomes. You just go all in on it. You can summon Reaper is incredibly powerful. I can tell you with this build and a bunch of Reapers summoned to the army and a bunch of other tier 4 units and tier 5 units and a whole crap load of leveled up vampires, I have had a 3 stack of this fighting at, I think the peak that I reached was 14,000 military strength. Now compare that to most end game armies probably are around 4,000 or 5,000. If you've got a 3 stack, it's pretty rare. It's a really strong army if it's 2,000 strength. You get 3 of those together, maybe you've got a 6,000 strength army. I have had this build reach up to like 14,000. Your vampire heroes under a blood moon with all of the buffs and benefits, all of the various undead buffs that affect undead units and your reapers and everything. It's incredible. It's very, very powerful. The only downside really being you don't have much in the way of economic benefits. So you can be really, really cash and mana poor, but at the same time, you'll have this gigantic army that is just steamrolling the map anywhere that it could get to. And we didn't mention it, but of course we are going to pick up, where is it? Tome, there it is. Tome of the Crimson Rain is what we want in tier 4 as well. The Blood Exarchs are incredible units. Gift of the Old, all these are great. Gift of the Old Blood, Mantle of the Blood God. Tears of the Crimson Sovereign, Crimson Court. Just the vampire tomes right now are incredibly good. So we're going to make everything bleeding. We're going to make it all sad. And we're going to kill it and turn it into undead for us. It's a really fun, really great build. A nice little twist on the standard pure dark stuff. Sure, you could be a dark culture, which is really good, but I find it really fun being the strife culture, since the strife gives you that extra. It's really easy to max out your paragon levels with that, and the strife gives you extra punching power. Once you're a maxed out paragon strife, all of your attacks get +5 fire damage. And you can, of course, buff up all of your units to do that. So even your skeletons and everything, punching at a +5 fire damage, suddenly it's pretty respectable. It's a very fun build. I encourage you to try it. This is the Oathsworn with a vampire leaning into the undead. It's great fun. All right, that's all I got for you. Those are super cool. They're very fun, reasonably meta, or in some cases extremely meta, high-powered builds that are a lot of fun to play. Build your empire, go burn down the enemy's empires, have a good time with it. Thanks for watching, guys. Probably won't be a ton more Age of Wonders content. I just enjoy these so much. I wanted to let you know about them as well. Give them a try, and I will see you next time.